Welcome. We have a lot to go over today because I not only want to go over my 12-week year progress, but because January just ended, I want to reflect on how January went and talk about my priorities as we go into February as well. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the 12-week year review per usual. Week number 4 is already over, which is just so crazy to me. It feels like ages ago that I started this, but at the same time, like, I don't know, yesterday. So let's go ahead and take a look at the week so far. I haven't yet finished today's. If I did, that would bring it to 86%. I'm going to finish it. Let's get it checked off. So I've done yoga. If you watched last week's video, I was wondering if I should count yoga that I do without a prompt. And I'm like, I've been doing yoga for more than 10 years. I know different flows that I can go through. I should count it as long as I do something related to yoga. So I did, and it made a big difference. So did the 47%, clearly. I only missed one day, and that was a day that I did my work at my desk, but I didn't actually get to the work with my shoulder, my rotator cuff, and all of the other weird stuff I have to do laying on my stomach. But this actually made a big difference, which is great. I've taken to just laying on a blanket in my living room to do the work, and I'm happy with how that's going. I plan videos on Thursday. I was looking at my content and rearranging some things. I have done a lot less with scripting. I'm going to count today because I'll get to 30 minutes before this video is over, but I'm still averaging right under that 85%. I do know this is where I'm most struggling, or in my tactics and in actually seeing progress. I just feel like it's going to take a while for me to get my footing on YouTube, and I was being perhaps a little bit optimistic to think that a video a week or 2 videos a week was going to improve my content and take very much. I'm hoping that it builds over time. We're going to keep tracking it. I've told myself I have to give myself a year of trying on YouTube, which will happen in July, and finish up my 12 weeks with these tactics before I try to switch anything up. It was another slow week on working on my musical. I've been putting off going through my notes. I did get them organized, but I haven't acted on them. What I did was I started working on a song to actually write some piano for it, which was good, and I'm glad I did it. So I'd say that my wrist rehab is probably going best. I'm consistently accomplishing my yoga. The 47% change made a big difference, although most days I aimed for 47%. It felt more doable, and I ended up going to 50 because I could, which was great. I'm really excited about that. I'm changing up my wrist rehab again, taking another one off of my list, and hopefully soon I'll be able to graduate from all of these stomach ones, but it's probably going to be closer to March before I can move on to my third phase of wrist rehab in that respect. I feel like I've been doing a decent job planning my videos and looking ahead, but I'm still not prioritizing getting ahead on the videos, scheduling them in advance, doing more than the 2 a week that I'm doing, which I'm finding I'm trying to sit with why I don't find it interesting. I do think a lot of it is because I'm not getting engagement. I think it can be a little bit discouraging to put in a lot of work to a video and then just not see engagement. I spent more time than I ever have working on editing my last week's video, and 100% of the views were where I shared it with a private community that I'm part of rather than any organic traffic whatsoever, which is really frustrating, and I don't know what's going. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these individually. All right, let's go ahead and go into our first major project here, workshopping Going Viral 101. Last week I spent all week transcribing a already written song into MuseScore to get used to typing up scores, figure out how accompaniment came together with the melody. This week I did spend most of the time that I spent working on my musical was working on a piano part for the introduction to one of my songs that I already had the melody scored out for. I feel like I did good work, but I also know that I was doing that work because I'm putting off the actual revision from notes. I need to stop putting that off. It's been now 2 weeks since I had my reading, and I haven't touched the notes. I haven't acted on them. It really won't take me that long to do 80% of them. I need to just do it. And next week, I need to be telling you that when I checked in, I was working on it. I can at least go through, take this little check mark and add it to here for like an actual piano part, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely avoiding stuff in that respect. For here, again, we hit most days this week except Friday. And Friday I had 2 different meetings, so I'm actually pretty happy with how that went. But I'm going to have 2 different meetings every Friday moving forward, so I need to figure out when I can still prioritize that. And again, I've been doing yoga pretty consistently for at least 10, 15 minutes, which is a start. I'm working up to that 45 minutes is going to take some work. I can technically do this now. So it doesn't feel great, but I can get the elbow extension. I can put weight on my hand. It's right about 50-50, but I'm not feeling like, oh yes, my wrists feel equal yet. So I'm not to push up yet, but I can hold a plank briefly, which is really nice. I can do my cat-cow without having to modify anything. So we really are getting there. I feel like my wrist is becoming mine again, which is incredible. I'm really just phoning this in, and I think it shows in my content. Well, I'm working really hard, but I'm not going above and beyond. I am not going into marketing. I've been changing some of my titles as I can to try to get more engagement. I feel like I'm creating things that I'm happy with, at least, but that's, I don't know. It's still not doing the job. Let me grab, I'm pretty sure it's just one more watch hour for this. I know it's just one more subscriber, but hey, it's better than no more subscribers, so I'm happy about that. And yes, we're at 347 watch hours. So I've had 11 watch hours over the course of a month. And I know that this is just such a slow process in the beginning to get traction. And I'm trying to let myself be okay with that. So I don't think I have anything really to change this week besides the updates that I already made to my wrist tracker to change which exercises I'm doing. I finally went up to the highest weight that I think is reasonable to do with getting movement back into my wrist. And once I graduate from that, we'll be on only the shoulder stuff. So that's exciting. So no tactics changing this week. My daughter has a meet on Thursday this week. I have to set up for it on Wednesday. It's going to be a relatively short week. I need to get a lot into it, especially when it comes to my other projects, which is bringing us to looking at our month. I didn't film myself making this, but I did keep up with my ADHD Life OS for myself. Just go down into bare minimum, setting my year up right, planning my videos, preparing for my songwriting job, figure out the rest of my musical. And I enjoy Disneyland. And I did enjoy Disneyland. And at Rockstar Month, plan my 12 videos, record, edit, schedule no less than 4 of them, edit for a client, I don't care which, get the formatting done on this other super secret project, finish the libretto of my musical, have lead sheets for the songs, complete a reading, and prepare to integrate the feedback that I receive. And I actually did a lot of that. So the majority of my time, if you can call 30 or 28% a majority, went to working with getting this new job set up for teaching songwriting, which is really exciting to me because it is a nice change. It's something that I want to be teaching. Then my musical comes in next. It would have been much higher in the earlier part of the month. And then like I said, I just stopped working on it. I have 2 titles for this right now, Going Viral 101 and Sonder and Other Casualties of Fame. I think Going Viral 101 is the one that's sticking, but I called it Sonder first, so that's why that's different there. YouTube comes in at 15%, then just admin work. A lot of that was family related and cleaning, academic editing. This is one of the jobs that I had hoped to do in my Rockstar month, Notion templates, Omega, super secret project, and another book where I had a meeting with a client. So I actually got a lot done. 116 tasks over the course of what was probably about less than 20 working days because I didn't start this really until January 8th. So I'm really happy with how my January went. I can see that my focus is where it needs to be. I think one of the biggest things that I've changed in my mindset that has made a difference in not only my productivity, but in putting myself into the universe the way I want to be perceived is by doing the work of the 12-week year where I look at how I want my life to look in 3 years and 10 years. And then I go back and look at how my life is now, and I notice just how often I was prioritizing short-term projects for other people over what was really going to bring me joy. I'm working on my own musical. I am making these YouTube videos. I'm learning how to be on camera, how to edit, how to commit, how to show up for myself, and to pour into myself first. I thought about that analogy where you have somebody where if you fill a glass with water all the way up to the top, then there's no room for anything else. If you fill it with sand, you might be able to add a little bit of water, but there's no room for anything else. But if you start with these like really big rocks and then you add gravel and then pebbles and then sand and then water, you can fill it all the way up every single time and you won't run out of space. You're doing them in the right order. And I've failed at my long term goals for 10 years, I think, because I didn't do this. I was filling up in the wrong order. And I'm noticing such a big difference in such small units of time. Like those big pebbles, maybe you can only fit 4 or 5 inside of your glass, but they add up. They really do make a difference. I'm noticing that in even just in my wrist. I'm noticing it in spending 15 minutes a day showing up to my musical. I'm noticing it when I choose to prioritize aspects of my life that are in alignment with who I want to be first, then the other things tend to fall into place. And even though I'm not making as much like obvious outside, especially like on YouTube, progress that I want to, the progress that I am making is just making me delighted. And I need to slow down because I'm only a third of the way through this 12-week year and I'm already thinking about other projects that I want to put into the 12-week year framework. And letting myself slow down and let this month be about the thing, or this quarter be about the things that I've decided this quarter is about, and that I will have time to get to finishing a different novel or prioritizing Notion or going back to Medium or teaching myself how to record an album. All of this stuff, it's going to happen. But right now, I'm committed to the projects that I'm committed to. I'm going to be emailing a friend of mine with a completed libretto by the end of this week. I'm telling you this now. I'm going to have emailed her by the end of the week. I am going to finish writing some music for my songs that go with it so that it's proper music and not just chords, which is fine, but not what you remember in a musical. And I'm going to be able to do a full yoga session run by somebody else by the end of the week, only 15, 20 minutes maybe, where I can put weight on my hand without worrying about it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm showing up on YouTube. I'm talking about life with ADHD. I'm talking about writing. I'm talking about productivity and Notion and too many things. And maybe that's my problem, but I don't want to make myself smaller to grow an audience in a niche. Not here, not now. I want to show up as my full self. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm really glad that those of you that are here for the journey. And I will see you soon.